Hello, and today I'm here reviewing School for Good and Evil, The Last Ever After. These books are some of my absolute new favorites, and to me it is amazing how these books have dealt with some very heavy topics. We see a lot in these books, a lot of heavy subjects. The first one, it's more about self-love and friendship and right and wrong and selfishness. And then in the second book, we have a lot of women's rights, oppression, kind of a dystopian feel to that second one. And this is the third one. And this one is really what the whole series has been about. It's really about good versus evil and the gray lines in between. And there are a couple of characters that really in this book, in this series, they have walked that line between good and evil. And I'm not talking about Sophie, because Sophie to me is one of the most aggravating characters of this series. Because for one, as far as a character goes, she has very, very little development. She is pretty much self-centered, self-serving, and the only thing that she is worried about is whether somebody loves her the most. Someone has to have her as number one for her to be happy. She cannot love herself and figure that out. Well, at least until this book. So, Agatha, on the other hand, is used to being alone. So, she kind of had to learn how to find comfort in herself and her friends. Well, now she has Tedros, and we see how their relationship is going in this book, and it's a bit rocky. Mostly because Agatha's biggest issue with herself is self-doubt. She puts herself down, and she doesn't really think that she's capable of much, or that she's capable of having greatness. She's very, very self-depreciating. Now, we did get introduced to some new characters in this series this time around. One of them being Merlin from, of course, King Arthur. And, of course, we know that Tedros has some problems with that. We also get to meet his mother and Sir Lancelot. And there was a lot of drama in this book. Like I said, Sophie was the most irritating character to me. Agatha goes through quite a transformation. And there were parts in this book where I became so emotionally invested in some of the characters that were even new that I cried like a baby at the end. Mostly had to do with Cinderella's tale. When she told how she felt about her stepsisters and about what her prince did, I got mad. Like, I got mad at the prince, and I cried, and it was terrible. And then when Lady Lessa and Professor, or whatever, Dovey, when Dovey and Lessa, basically say that their friendship is Lady Lessa's redeeming quality, that tore me up. And of course what happened afterwards tore me up. So that broke my heart a lot. And the friendships in this book, but there again, Lady Lessa was the dean for evil. But she treaded that line between good and evil, like she realized that there had to be a balance. Whereas the schoolmaster is completely consumed by evil ruling. And so that was an interesting concept. Sophie learning that concept was also interesting. I actually would love to know what happened between Sophie and Hort. because I actually felt sorry for Hort. He was one of those characters that, like, he seemed a little creepy. But on the other hand, like, I really feel like Sophie wanted to be number one to somebody, and Hort would have done that. Hort would have put her first. Hort would have done anything that she said, just like Sophie wanted. Maybe not the best thing for Sophie's character development, but I feel like they belong together. And so I kind of want to know where that went. I am hoping to get the Never Ever Handbook, or Ever Never Handbook, however it is pronounced. But anyway, this was by far my favorite book of the series. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you thought about The School for Good and Evil. And I hope to see you soon.